Sonic Adventure is a game that is near and dear to a lot of us Sonic fans' hearts, especially those who grew up in the early 2000s. A lot of our first Sonic games were Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 and the advanced games. At least that's how it was for me. I remember having my brother's GameCube and having my own Game Boy Advance, playing Sonic Advance and playing Sonic Adventure back then when I was a kid. Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2 mean a lot to a lot of people, including me. But there's just some things when you go back to the game you feel like could have been better, could have been fixed. So based off the remake rumors that have been coming out about Sonic Adventure, I figured let's talk about some things we could fix about Sonic Adventure in the rumored remake that is supposedly coming out this year. But first, before we hop into that, we have to talk about today's sponsor. This video's sponsor is SkillShare. SkillShare is an online learning community where you can learn new skills from many others around the world. There are thousands of classes for curious and creative people like you. There's a lot of talented people in our community, and here's some classes that I think would help you guys out. SkillShare offers classes such as graphic design, creative writing, animation, music, and music production. A class I've tried was Aaron Draplin's Design Like Draplin, 21 Tips for Speeding Up Your Design Workflow. This class was very beneficial for someone like me because it helped me organize my workspace when it came to graphic design and creating the stuff you see here on this channel. And remember, Skillshare is specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused. And it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. But now, let's get on with fixing Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure being Sega's first truly 3D Sonic game, it's easy to cut them some slack for a lot of the mistakes they made, but at the same time, now that we're making a remake, we can make this much better. So the first thing I want to talk about is the camera. Unfortunately, a lot of games nowadays still suffer from camera controls, but nowhere near as much as they suffered back then with platformers in the late 90s and early 2000s. Sonic Adventure was just one of the many platformers that had bad camera controls. And with Sonic Adventure, you could only move the camera with the shoulder buttons and you couldn't do it with the right analog stick, and this was mostly due to the Dreamcast controller just not having a right analog stick. And further ports of the game don't even let you move it with the right analog stick, so this would be a good time to correct that in the remake and also make the camera not as bad as it was back in the day. Because trust me, there are some moments in Sonic Adventure where the camera would just go crazy and you just won't even know where you are at all. I think the next thing they need to work on is the dialogue, because the dialogue in Sonic Adventure is almost a direct translation over from Japanese, so a lot of stuff sounds awkward when said, and it doesn't really fit in some instances. Now, I don't want them to change the entire script of Sonic Adventure because the story, I think on paper, is very interesting, but just in execution, because of the game's age and the direct translation, it sounds kind of weird and old, and it's very campy, and there's lots of pauses between dialogue. I feel like if they really want to get this right, they need to change just a few things with the dialogue in Sonic Adventure to make it sound more natural, and also not copy it one-to-one and do those weird long pauses either. But what they cannot do is they cannot change the Knuckles, oh no, and they cannot change the Sonic, oh yeah, this is happening. They change that, this remake's bad. Just joking, by the way. One of the biggest things to talk about is, of course, the controls of Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure inherently doesn't control bad, it's mostly when you're going fast, it doesn't control that great. For example, let's take Sonic. Sonic has a habit of running into walls when you're going fast and you're going in a straight line. He just runs into walls all the time and it can slow down the pace of the game. I feel like sometimes it can also be due to the geometry of how the levels are built, because I feel like Sonic Adventure 1 and even 2 suffers from this. In some instances you'll be going fast on just a flat plane, it seems like, but you'll hit something invisible in the geometry which will cause you to stop or bounce back. And this happens a lot in the adventure games, and it's something that should be smoothed over later on in their later remake if it's true. Another thing with the controls is the instant spin dash. Now this might be a controversial take, but some people feel like the instant spin dash breaks the game and some people love it. And personally, I'm kind of in between. I do think it does break the game in some instances, and some other instances it does make it pretty fun to just spam the spin dash button, but it kind of breaks the game, and I don't think it really works well for the level design because you can just spin dash all over the place and even spin dash over things and just skip so many parts of the level that they actually want you to play. And I feel like in a way it kind of breaks Sonic Adventure, but it's still fun at the end of the day. So my question is, what do you guys think about this? Do you think it should stay in the game, or do you think it should be fixed and work more how it works in Sonic Adventure 2? Because me personally, I think I'd be fine if they changed that aspect of Sonic Adventure, because one, it's not my favorite part that I like. I like almost everything about Sonic Adventure, but I don't play Sonic Adventure because I can spam the spin dash button. Now I want to talk about our old good friend Big the Cat. Everybody loves Big the Cat. He is the most fun to play in Sonic Adventure. Catching Froggy for 4 levels, it's a ton of fun. I love into fishing. Yeah, no. In reality, a lot of people don't like Big the Cat, and personally, I don't hate him. It's just kind of like whatever, because he's only 4 levels long. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but a lot of people just really hate doing that. So I say make Big the Cat optional. And, you know, he doesn't have to be playable because he doesn't really bear that much importance to the story of Sonic Adventure, and his gameplay style is almost a literal advertisement for Sega Bass Fishing. But they could make him optional to complete the game, and also they should do something where they make his cutscenes extremely funny when he shows up, so that way Big will be like that funny guy that comes in the cutscenes rather just a random cat looking for Frog. Another thing I think they should fix is Tails' tornado levels to make them a little more engaging, because honestly they're mostly just on rails and you're just shooting or holding a button, and until the end where you just have to shoot the middle of the egg carrier and then move out the way and shoot it again. Other than that, you're hardly touching your analog stick in that, because moving around isn't all that important in that level, which is why a lot of speedrunners when they play Sonic Adventure, they kind of just go in the corner and just hit the A button. I think if they redo those and make those more engaging, I think it'd be a lot better and more cool. I think a big thing they need to fix is the boss design. A lot of Sonic bosses in Sonic games aren't really all that great in the first place, in my own personal opinion, but I think Adventure is really lacking when it comes to the bosses. A lot of them stand still and you just hit them. For example, especially in the Gamma levels where you can just shoot over and over and over and the boss will just not even move and just keep taking damage. And even in the character battles where you do Knuckles versus Sonic, they still just kind of take hits and they don't really fight back or do much of anything. So I think an AI improvement, since now we're in the future and we're not in 1999 anymore, they can definitely just spice up the battles and not make them as boring. I think one of the best designed boss fights in Sonic Adventure is E101 Mark II. That boss had you dodging and the boss had iframes and stuff like that, and I don't know, it was a really engaging fight, and I wish the game had more of that for the other characters. Now I want to talk a little bit more about character specific changes they should make to the game. For Sonic, I think they should give him a normal light speed dash instead of having to charge it up in order to do it, because I feel like it's just kind of annoying and we've moved past that now. Sonic can just literally tap a button and he just does it nowadays, so I think it would be a great addition to modernize that part of Sonic's gameplay. Almost in every single new Sonic game that's come out in the last 10 years, there's been like a homing attack reticle, and I think adding that into Sonic Adventure would make things a little bit easier at the end of the day. As for Tails, his gameplay is super easy, and it's really impossible to lose a race in my opinion, so I feel like if they make it harder in some way, making the person you're racing, whether it's Sonic or Eggman, move faster, or just adding more obstacles in the air for Tails to dodge, because he can pretty much just maneuver over almost all of the level design, and he kind of just breaks the game. But even though it's still fun, it still doesn't present really much of a challenge. And as for Knuckles, I think Knuckles is perfectly fine. I wouldn't really change anything about him. Maybe his controls a little bit so they don't work as weird where you have to press 2 buttons to dig into the ground, but maybe that's really about it. As for Amy, honestly, she just needs to move faster, and her hammer I don't think should stop her the way she does. It's really hard to move left and right with that character when you're accelerating, because Amy's acceleration is terrible in Sonic Adventure. And Gamma kind of goes back to the boss thing, just have the bosses be a lot bigger and a lot harder to deal with, so that way it presents more of a challenge, because you can zoom through Gamma's levels, and truthfully it is pretty fun zooming through them. Those are a lot of the changes I would make to Sonic Adventure personally. Let me know your guys' list below of the things you would want to change and or be fixed in the comments below. And again, shout out to SkillShare for doing a sponsorship for this video. It really helps out, and shout outs to them. Also, shout outs to you guys, because we're almost at 9,000 subscribers, and hopefully well, not hopefully, we will reach 10K this year. This year is the 10K year. It's all thanks to you guys. But anyways, that's going to be for today's video. Make sure you leave a like and hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.